Hello everyone, this is Falcon, and today I'm going to be doing technical analysis of two coins, NEO and OMG. And before I get started, since this is my first video, I did want to go ahead and introduce myself. I've been trading crypto for a few months now. I started back in March of 2017, and I just want to get this out of the way first. I know that the common sentiment towards newer traders is that they don't really have any idea what they're doing, and while I'm not going to claim that I am the best trader or even a good trader relative to some of the people out there, I do think I've learned a lot in the past few months. I've put in a lot of work into improving my technical analysis and trading skills, and I think that I've gotten to a point to where I'm comfortable sharing my ideas with the public. And while this isn't financial advice, and it's totally up to you if you want to take my ideas into consideration, I just think that would be something that would be fun for me and hopefully beneficial for you guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into this analysis. And the first coin I want to cover today is NEO, formerly known as Antshares, by the way. Changed its name not too long ago. And basically the first thing that jumps out at me at this coin is, well, obviously it's pumped an enormous amount since a few months ago, back in March and April. If we take a look at this from its lowest point up to the top, that is about a 20,000% increase, which is just ridiculous, honestly. But here we are, up here at 0.01, which is pretty insane. But the question is it going to continue going up, or are we going to retrace? And we have this very strong trend line that's formed back during the start of May into halfway through June about. And this trend kept going up and up and up, and then all of a sudden we had this massive spike that consolidated a little bit and then had another massive spike. So we're currently very, very overextended from this trend line, and at some point we are going to retrace. That's just not a question. The question just is, when is it going to happen? And I'm of the opinion that we're actually coming to a bit of a decision point here. After our latest high, our stochastic on the daily has been dropping. We've kind of dipped down, tagged to this support line right here at the 618, and are now kind of at a crossroads. And if we check the 4 hour, we can see here that we're coming up on this 4 hour cloud. And at these points, it's often very, very telling of the continuing trend, how it reacts to running straight into a cloud wall. So right here, it's very possible that it could either hit this cloud wall, break down, or it can ride the cloud up, maybe tag it again, and then push towards all-time highs. So even though we're not really, this is kind of a classic thing that you would see in like a symmetrical triangle sort of shape, but it kind of has the same effect when you run into this cloud. You can really only go one of two ways, and each of those ways are both going to tell a pretty significant story. Either you're going to break through a massive support, or you're going to ride that support, push off of it, and continue upwards. So I think the best thing to do, if you're not in this coin already, or if you're still holding and are wondering if you should sell or not, see how it reacts to this place right here. In the next few hours, it's going to eventually show us which way it wants to continue, and I think that's going to be very telling. As for which way I think it's going to continue, I personally think it's going to continue up. However, we have had a bit of a head and shoulders here. Like, it's not the cleanest, but it's kind of there, as you can see. And we've gone down right here. But if we look at our stochastics, the 4 hour pretty much on the floor, where it was a couple of candles ago, and it's turned up, making its way out of the oversold territory. And a lot of other time frames support this idea. The 6 hour also in the oversold and turning up, as well as the 12 hour, which pretty much bottomed out and has just now started to turn up as well. Our daily, I think, probably is going to be soon to follow. It's kind of what I call overextended. When this blue line gets way ahead of the orange line, usually you're kind of due for some kind of move to bring the two a little closer back together. And in this case, it would probably be a move upwards for our blue line, which is the short-term average. So with all these things considered, I think we're probably going to see NEO come up here, meet this cloud, and then rise above it and continue on its way. It's entirely likely that it doesn't. This is fairly bearish as well. NEO has not broken down out of the hourly cloud since the start of August. when it moved above it with this candle. And the fact that it's breaking down now definitely should cause a little concern, and I wouldn't be completely surprised to see it break down right here, come through right here, or come through like this. However, if I had to bet, I would think that it's slightly more likely we're going to continue upwards. Now, whether or not we actually break all-time highs, that's completely undecided. That's still a fairly substantial move from 0.009 all the way back up to 0.1014. So we'll just have to see how it plays out. Keep an eye on this spot on the 4-hour cloud and check which direction it goes. And the next coin I want to cover is OMG, OmiseGO, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. This one has had a very solid trend line develop, and it's a little closer than NEO. It hasn't had that just completely insane move upwards that's just completely blown the trend out of proportion. However, it still is up quite a bit as well. From the bottom when it released all the way up to the top, about 1,000%, which is quite significant, but if NEO showed us anything, it should show us that this coin could still have potential to move much farther upwards. So let's take a look and see if that is going to be the case. Starting on the 1 hour, fairly bullish, broke back up above the cloud, tagged it once, kind of tagged it twice, so looking pretty good on the 1 hour. We may kind of chop around here for a bit and then tag the 1 hour again maybe along this trend line, or we could just continue on upwards. But moving to the 4 hour, yeah, this honestly looks pretty good. I'm not seeing much that would tell me otherwise. One thing to keep an eye out though here, whenever you have trends kind of meet at these points, it can start to get a little dangerous. So we had another such point right here. Although the cloud had just started to paint itself, but the trend line and the cloud were very close together. So this trend is the primary bullish trend line for OMG, and if it were to break down, that would not be good, because the very first thing we're going to see is, oh look, we're already at another support and we've just had a very big confirmed bearish move. So it makes it pretty easy for a coin to do something like come through here, maybe bounce off this cloud, retest this support, which is now resistance, and then fall through and continue on a correction downwards, which this coin is obviously probably due for, as was NEO. However, I'm not seeing that as a likely possibility quite yet. I'm just saying that's something that you should keep an eye on. If it does break down here, I would definitely look to sell on the bounce up to retest this line, because it's very likely it's going to crash through the support and continue downwards on a correction. So let's check the 12-hour. 12-hour stochastic is turning down, but again, it's not oversold, it's not overbought, it's kind of in that area where it can still turn around quickly if a move starts to materialize. The 1 day, however, looks quite strong. Throughout these consolidation zones, we've had this big move upwards, consolidation, big move up, consolidation, and that's kind of been the pattern so far for OMG. It's kind of kept very consistent in that pattern. And honestly, it looks like that's about to happen again. We're having this more multi-day consolidation here. Each time the stochastic has kind of time to cool off and rest. And right now you can see we were even oversold at this point. A whopping 1,000% up from launch, we were oversold on the stochastic. So I think this is quite bullish. I wouldn't be surprised if we get another big spike out of here as we approach this trend line. And yeah, if I was holding on to this coin, I would continue holding. If I wanted to get in, it's kind of tough. You could maybe make an argument for buying here along this 1 hour cloud support, or you can see if it maybe even wicks down and touches the support line again. But yeah, I mean, entry can be tricky when these coins are so overextended, honestly, I would even say. So very risky, do at your own peril. But if I were to get in right here, I would try to get as close to this trend line as possible. Perhaps somewhere, maybe you could chop around here and touch this trend line. But yeah, that is to be seen. So yeah, overall I'm pretty bullish on OMG. Fairly bullish on NEO. I'd say more so OMG than NEO, but I think both have potential to keep moving upwards. If you're holding, I wouldn't sell quite yet on either. But on NEO, again, I would check NEO watch what it does in relation to this 4-hour cloud coming up right here. And then for OMG, we're going to be looking at how it respects this trend line right here. If it breaks down this trend line, there's a good chance it's going to break down the 4-hour as well. So hopefully this helped you guys out a little bit. Yeah, if you have any feedback, comments, questions, just leave one in the comments below. You can find me on Twitter. It'll be in the description box at falcon_trading. And subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed it. And I will be back with more content soon. Thanks for watching.